Nick Cannon Mornings on Power 106. Close conversations up close and personal with people I truly admire. And this brother, man, I don't even think admire is the word. I mean, we gonna jump into it, but all that he has accomplished in the world of entertainment, we'd be here all day if we want to talk about the awards and just. But beyond that, a true hip hop legend and a community legend. Common, man.
Peace. What's up, Nick?
My God,
What's up?
peace,
What's
King.
going on, my brother?
So, man, like obviously from the Oscars to the Grammys to all of those things, but specifically, man, now an author in a real way, and really this book was inspired by your daughter. If I can't. I mean, the last time time before last that we ran into each other was at her graduation.
Yeah, at Howard.
At Howard. You know, I'm a student at Howard, and I'm pulling up just because I'm really trying to get my grades right from my professors. I'm checking in with my professors for the last day, and they like, yo, your man down over there. And I was like, we pulled up, we chopped it up, and to see your daughter graduate college, man, that out of everything you accomplished, that probably has to be one of the greatest accomplishments.
Definitely one of the greatest. I mean, just to see her at that stage, seeing her walk and get her diploma and just her happiness and how hard she worked.
Right.
You know, and one thing about, being at a black college, which I really, man, I got to say respect due the fact that you attended Howard.
Yeah.
And my daughter's like, yo, no, Nick be going to classes.
I really be up there.
Yo, he really be there. I'm like, oh. But that being said, man, that is one of the greatest days of my life. Just the happiness of seeing my whole family together and me, her mom. Her mom works really hard to get her to that level. So, and we all did. But I mean, I want to commend her mom because her mom was a teacher.
Those matriarchs in our community, man,
Yes,
they hold us down when we out there moving and shaking.
Exactly.
They're the ones that grow our roots and continue to keep us going. So let love have the last word.
Yeah.
You said it was inspired by your daughter, but man, you touched on so many. Again, I was privileged to get an early copy. We was down in Atlanta.
Yes, sir.
And I cracked it open right then. And one of the things I noticed instantly was all of the lessons, whether they were specific lessons that you gathered on your journey, or even just like quotes from Angela Davis to James Baldwin.
Yeah.
And to be such a well-rounded individual and to be so open and vulnerable. Man, beyond your daughter, what inspired you to just offer up all that game?
Man, I want people to be happy, man. I'm like I love people, and I feel like we deserve it, like a place of peace for ourselves, especially in the climate where it's so much dissension and so much divisiveness, and you got people that are leaders of government that's like doing things that's like to destroy families. I'm like, what can I put out in the world that will be inspiring for somebody? What can I do from my place, my platform, that will be positive and like add on to different people's lives? And that's what made me write like my own personal stories too. And I wanted to write them with not saying like I have all the answers, but just also just saying, hey, these are some of the things I've experienced, and these are some of the ways that I got through it.
Right.
And this may be helpful to you. So
facts.
So I really and I want to talk about things we don't talk about, because in the book I discuss, therapy and like how beneficial that has been, in my spirituality and mindfulness. I talk about things in I feel like in Black and Latino communities we don't talk about as much with child molestation.
Yeah, you touched on that.
Yeah, because I've been visiting some prisons in California, just building with brothers and sisters, and so many people been abused,
right?
And that ends up translating into violence.
Yeah.
So my whole thought process was like, man, how can I be a part of the solution?
Yeah, and we've been on some of them journeys together. Shouts out to Scott Budnick, all
Yes,
of them cats.
yes, sir.
Doing the reform in the communities, but you speak specifically to that, to where a lot of times it is a lot of ego involved, whether it's inside the incarceration facilities or even to just in our community in general, where a brother like yourself will step out, and I've seen it, where you just open and just talk about your life and what you've gone through, and then you see that same spirit come over cats that's doing life, or cats that's still in the streets, and they're like, well, shoot, if Common can talk about it, and we in this circle, then I could talk about it too.
Exactly.
And it truly is an example of love to where we can remove that ego and talk to each other as spirits, man. And you touch on that in the book. Elaborate on that, man, of being able to be vulnerable, the strength in being vulnerable.
Man, that's powerful what you're saying, bro, because it's like it happens so much. I used to even do that, man, when I going through the clubs. It'd be dudes that be looking at me like, oh, they gonna come. He think he that guy. He think he,
the spirit of hate,
man. And I just walk up and just like, yo,
pound
what's
them
up,
up.
man? Pound them up.
Yeah.
What's up, bro? You good?
Yeah.
Like, and it just break that hate off.
And
man.
they get happy.
They get happy, and they feel like they
I'm
can
the
love
same
themselves.
way.
You do that,
yeah,
right?
like because at first, especially in the club now, it's just they don't even enjoy themselves no more. You go to the club to just stand and mean mug.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean? We got bottles, we got chicks, and we gonna stare. It's a stare off.
It's a stare off. I'm like, man, I ain't on that, man.
And you get a brother like yourself that'll come in and to speak to everybody, shake hands. And at the same time, when we go into these different facilities and things of that nature, it start off real cold. But then by the time you done shared something, you done embraced another brother, then it's like, man, they laughing, they joking and stuff. And really, that's where we all want to get to.
Yeah.
But because we've been through so much as a people, as a community, we use that as a protective mechanism because we don't want to let people in, because we don't want to get hurt.
Yeah, but that vulnerability, man, it's really a place of truth and a place of freedom, man.
Facts.
I feel like the more I've been talking about, even as I discover more things about myself and I talk about them and share them, I'm doing it for the purpose of my own liberation, but I also feel like, man, whether it's my homies or people I meet in prison or people I see on the streets or just people in our communities that feel like you said, we got to hide behind that ego or what's supposed to be hard. I'm like, man, hey, man, like some of the wisest and most intelligent and successful people I know been able to be in tune with themselves and be able to, like, whether it's like say when they hurt, say when they going through some stuff, and also say when they victorious. And I think, as I feel like I owe it to the people to not always put up the facade of everything is going good. Yeah, I won these awards, and I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for these things. I'm still strong over here. But at some certain times, man, I'm like trying to work through these fears or work through these different things I'm going through. So it's important that when I see other people going through it, like I really commended Jay-Z, man, for talking about, he was talking about therapy like 3-4 years, about 3 years ago, right before 444 came out. He was like, man, I saw him in an interview. He was like, man, I've been shot at. I sold dope. He said, but the hardest thing I had to do was work on myself. I was like, damn, to hear that Jay saying that was like, and I'm saying, like, when we step out, Nick, as people who are out there in the public eye and just show all of us, all of who we are.
Yeah, we lay it out there.
Yeah, it give people a chance to, as human beings, to be like, oh man, I can do it. I can do it. Right.
We inspire without even having to be so, like, we don't have to pontificate and say this is what you do. Just living your life in an open format just shows like, well, if he can do it, then I can do it too.
Exactly.
And that brings me to, honestly, man, you've been a mentor and an inspiration to me for years. We've known each other for so long, I told you this in private, like, I truly believe one of the best MCs to ever do it. And really, like, because you've done so many things in your career, people forget, like, on some backpacks. You know what I mean? Just the booming joints, just the boom back from the Dilla days. But even to me, you inspired me just based off of the concept of being able to be open and to be a lyricist, but to tell stories. I know we both fans of like Slick Rick and all those cats, but honestly, the retrospect for life, that record changed my life in many ways. And the record with you and Lauren really inspired me to kind of be able, like that, just you telling the story about being celibate and then getting with a woman and her possibly, not wanting to have the baby and keeping the baby. And even that's a hot button topic right now. But that record inspired a record that me and Kanye made that was actually about my life, about my mom really making a decision to have an abortion of me.
Right.
But at the time, she said a voice spoke to her, and I was like, yo, that was me. And that was a record we did, a few years back. But really, it was me and Anthony Hamilton. And I was like, yo, I would have never made that record, the Can I Live record, if it wasn't for Common's Retrospect for Life. And I just feel like, just as an MC, I wish there was another word for just MC, because it's really a poet. It's really a storyteller, to be able to articulate and be an architect of storytelling, because as a people, that's all we really have. And you've done that on so many levels and inspired so many, but you don't get the credit, man. You don't get the credit, like, for inspiring generations, for inspiring the Kanyes, for inspiring the cats like me, the Kendricks, all of those people, because one, you still in it.
Yeah.
So you still making records. You know what I mean? You got a new album that's about to drop in August, but it's like, I think your whole body of work, people are gonna have to step back and say, this is a cat who went from battling Ice Cube to winning Oscars, but really just your art of storytelling. I mean, just even the story from Retrospect to Life to The Light, which is still one of my favorite records of all time. Like, all of these records, man, are where does that storytelling capability come from?
Well, man, I always, first of all, give thanks, bro, for what, and that, man, I love that you just told that story about Retrospect for Life, because I really was just telling my story. I was going through the process of, with me and my girl at the time, of, man, are we gonna have an abortion? And that was something at one point that we did go forward with, but then the second time, it was the reason my daughter was born.
And now she's a college graduate.
Right. And this dude came up to me, like, during that time when I released that music, and was like, man, that record made me decide to have my child.
Right.
And that kind of struck me, like, in a way, like, I was like, whoa, this music, just by me telling my stories, this music can have an effect on people's lives.
That's the same thing I said, because, I mean, like, now, because I put out Can I Live, and, that was probably like 2003. So it's teenagers damn near coming up to me like, yo, my mom said if you would never put out that song, I wouldn't be here.
Dude.
Yeah, and I was like,
don't that make you be like, whoa,
like,
this
yo,
nigga.
that is beyond the awards and the accolades. Like,
you, like, brought a life in the world.
Right,
like,
just from telling your story.
From telling your story. That's amazing. So for me, it's just been about, like, just being, as I go through my life, I just try to be as honest and authentic with wherever I am.
Right.
And also just get better at the storytelling. As an actor, being multifaceted as you are,
right.
Like, you can tell stories in so many ways.
Right.
You and I was building on scripts that we know.
That we still gonna make it to
movie. We still got to make it. We still gonna make that joint. But I think, through that storytelling, you really, like, affect human beings. Whether it's for me, I've learned to do it through acting, through like live performance, and in the songs. Like, the new album is, man, I'm telling a lot of stories about things going on.
And this goes adjacent to the book as well, right? It's like,
Let
Love.
The album is called Let Love. It's more inspired by the book. It's like, all the songs are not like exactly what the chapters of the book are about, but it kind of gave me a template or a theme to write around to a certain degree. But I took the music to different places. Nick.
Every album is fire.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. Like, this album, I feel real geek, because I hadn't been working on any films or anything. I just focused on the music for a few months, and it just feel good to be, like, in tune with that first love. And I'm, man.
And speaking of, we got to talk about it. Just I want to geek out for a minute on some fan stuff that I used to love her, man.
Yeah.
Like, first of all, one of the best stories in hip hop ever. And it's inspired so many. How did you come up with that concept? And for the youngsters that may or may not know, this is where Common made a record. You thought he was talking about a chick the whole time, and the whole record, and then he's like, yo, who I'm talking about is hip hop. He was talking about he made hip hop a girl that he was dating, and all the things, and like the parallels of like what a young girl may go through growing up, coming up. You turn that into hip hop, and it was just so vivid. I mean, from the vision and everything. Like, where did that concept come from?
It's funny. I was just talking about that with one of my guys from Chicago who. He was in the studio when I was recording it, and I wrote that. I was sitting around my homies they was smoking. I wasn't smoking. I was just chilling.
Right.
I was just chilling because for some reason that night I just was just chilling.
Right.
And I was just drinking my beer, whatever, a little bit. I wasn't even lit. I was just chilling.
Chilling.
Yeah. And I remember sitting, man, I had a beat, and I was like, man, you know, I just was listening to the beat, and I was like, man, what if I made hip hop a girl?
Yeah.
Like, and that thought just came to me, and I was like, man, it's one of those divine things that when we talking about divine.
God was in the room.
God in the room, bro. And I let God speak. When God speak, I listen. So I just was, you know, I started thinking about, this whole relationship and how hip hop. Man, hip-hop still means so much to me. On the new project, I have a song. It's a single out called Her Love. It's featuring Daniel Caesar, but it's like I used to love her 25 years later.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got it. Let me give you some of the third verse.
Yeah,
real quick.
yeah.
I say, because people ask me my perspective on hip-hop a lot, and they expect me to be hating on the new generation. I'm like, nah, man, cats is doing what they do. They expressing hip-hop in a way.
Facts.
Yeah, so I say, you know, I'm talking to hip-hop. I say, you gave me a voice in the world. It's been hard to choose another girl. They trip when you mumble. They trip when you sing. But you gave us a chance to dream. In Young Thugs, you see a future. You recognize Little Uzi ain't here to shoot you. At 21, you knew I was savage. But you said, Common, you will never be average. It's a cold world. We need J. If you could .com, you could .k.
Ooh.
You rock 2 chains, keep your mind free. You see a Malcolm X in a YG.
Ooh.
You told me I'm the main like Gucci with a chance to rap and make movies. You gave meals to the meek to inherit the earth. Before me too, you said ladies first. Things get rocky, you there ASAP. Rocky or Ferg, you there to swerve. I want you to get the love you deserve. My will made it on the mic with words. With no name, I was a hard MC. Loving hip hop on some Cardi B. Ooh. Now you a part of me, creating Tyler style. A future ain't odd to see. Free spirit. With young Will like Jaden. When I see you, you never aging. Made in America for the world to see. You everybody's but you, my girl to me. I'm forever yours. To the TikTok, I'm still talking about you, hip-hop.
There it is. If you don't go buy the album off of that, I used to love her part 2. Yo, that's
Her Love.
Fire. Her Love. Yo, so it's funny, man. I don't know how many punchlines and wordplays and bars was in that. Just using everybody's name, that was crazy.
Thank you.
But the young Will like Jaden was crazy, and that brought me to, I don't even know if you remember this. The first time we ever met was in Philly, and I was maybe 16, 17 working. I was signed to Will at the time. And you was there, right? And it was at the Touch of Jazz. We was in the basement.
I remember that, man.
And it was you and Jill Scott.
Yes.
And nobody knew. Obviously, everybody knew who you were, but nobody knew who Jill Scott was.
Yeah.
And Eminem had just came out, and we was having a conversation about this dude. And I'm a kid, just wanting to get on.
Yeah.
I'm sitting next to one of my favorite MCs. I just got signed to Will Smith. We working on his project. I'm trying to get mine off. And you said something to me that stuck with me forever because we was having a conversation about hip hop. And you was like, man, just be comfortable in being who you are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And from that point on, man, because it was the conversation like, yo, is this Eminem dude gonna be the biggest thing? And comparing him to Will, because it was Big Willie style.
It was Will,
you know what I mean? And we was all on our grind, and we was really having a conversation like who we are in this industry, man. And to be able to grow through this process and have a mentor like you and see you accomplish all that you accomplished, but to stay solid and to stay true, man, it means a lot, dog. And it's truly inspiring.
Well, man, look, I gotta say, you took that advice because you doing it, man. Like I look, when I look and see all the worlds that you touching and like what you doing, you stay, you stay true to you, bro.
Right.
And it's like, man, that's why you stand the test of time, brother.
Right,
like
facts.
We was just on the tour bus watching you on Wild 'N Out, like just enjoying it, just like
right.
man. And on the tour bus, it's like you're watching what you want to watch. You know what I'm saying? And we out and some of the younger people who were on my team was like, man, Nick doing it. Like, look at all the like pieces of culture he touching.
Right.
And I was like, so obviously, I don't know if it was my words, but anyway.
I'll never forget that, man.
Yeah.
That was something like as a teenager, like that was a moment that's embedded in me, man. So I appreciate that, and we're gonna keep going. And it's funny too, because I mean, we done sat at many tables and just chopped it up just on some real game, and from the south of France to the basement to Philly to like really, but you've always been that same dude, and even in your personal life and all that. And I got to ask you some advice, but I also got a bone to pick with you.
Right. Okay. All right. Look, come on.
Since we talking about love.
Yeah, we got that. Let's do it.
Because you did it right, like in the sense of where I feel like we cut from the same cloth of being able to just be open spirits and be able to tap into love. And I've even seen you in other interviews speak on this, to where it's just the concept of even the 3 styles of love, whether it's philo, agape, eros, all of that type of stuff, but to be able to do it in a way that is unapologetic.
Yeah.
But because we find ourselves in these relationships, and you talk about it in the book a lot too, is where it's like the idea of just being in love and the completion. I feel like I had that too, but in this very same time where we do interviews, and I think we've done similar interviews, but your wordplay is so much flyer than mine, because they'll ask me about like, yo, so what was it like being with this person? Name your top 5 relationships and all. And I get caught up in the game. The ego start talking like, yeah, I smashed that, I hit this. And then all this backlash comes to me. But like when they ask you these questions, you be like, yo, that was a beautiful queen. I was, you know what I'm saying? Yo, I had the opportunity to experience that. I learned a lot. She taught me a lot. I'm still in this place, man. I feel I've given up on love. I never will be in a relationship again.
Oh man, come on, no man.
Like help me be like Common.
No, I mean I've been exactly where you are. Like meaning, like man, I don't think I'll ever be wanting to get married. But I feel like we go through those things, men and women, to like really get to your truer self. Each relationship is like it's a mirror to you. Like you seeing something that you're supposed to learn about yourself, even if the person is like they the worst.
Right.
They bring out the worst in you. At a certain point, like for me, I like some of my greatest lessons have come through the breakups. Like that's when I'm like, oh shit, I'm going through it, man. This is tough. Right. And then I gotta work on myself, and I'll be talking to God, working. I'll be reading. I'll be doing like staying on my ding. And I learn a lot about me, and then it just allows me to be a greater me. And I kind of got to also be able to not walk forward in fear because something else happened in the past.
Right.
But it takes time for us.
That's
to.
A word.
That's
a word.
Because it's like that happened with that situation. That was a point in your life that you had to learn from, and that was just that dynamic. Yeah, it's growth. But those are some of the things that we got to work through as individuals, but it takes the work.
And I've learned you got to just remove the ego a little bit.
For sure.
You know what I mean? And that's hard for me to do, but as I mature, as I get older, I'm like, I can step back and just, I don't have to be, boisterous and out there all the time. You've always been that. You played the humble card very well throughout your career, and it's worked.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, because it's the same token, I feel like it's always somebody got something good in them. So I'm going to choose to say the good over the bad. I'll tell the truth.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell the truth, but it's like, anything I really got to say to somebody, I say it to them face to face too.
Right.
But like I'm going to say something good about you if, that's, or I won't say nothing at all.
Right. And you said a lot in the book, and I'm pretty sure in the album, but one thing that stood out to me in the book is the different teachers that you talk about, whether it's from Michelle Obama, who's I guess one of your relationship coaches.
yeah. She gave me a little advice, man.
Yeah. To even someone that we both are following. You had a closer relationship with Dr. Sebi, man,
yes,
and obviously since Nipsey's passing and he's brought Sebi's name to light, and I always say the marathon continues. I picked up the baton where he left off, and we currently doing a documentary that obviously we chopping it up. You're gonna be a part of.
Be a part of that,
because you actually spent a lot of time with Dr. Sebi. Cats don't really know that. That and you not only tapped into his health and wellness processes and just even keeping yourself together, but I didn't get a chance to actually chop it up with dude, but like through this documentary, I feel like I know him, man.
Yeah.
What was he like, man?
Man, his spirit was like that of a big bright light, man. He was just any room he would step into, he just lighted up. He was all about helping people.
Yeah.
He was like the balance of
like a true humble spirit.
a true humble spirit, but like a lot of fun too.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't just like he was just like, Dr. Sebi, you got to sit down and talk. Like he'd be joking and telling you about the herbs and be smoking a joint. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and you'd be like, yo, this dude, like, and then you could sit down and he'll talk to you about just life, man. He took my father. My father was dealing with cancer. He took my father, and my father went down there, and they just had
In Honduras.
Honduras. He went to Honduras and just like started on the herbs, and really, man, it helped change my father's life. My father still transitioned in 2014, but with Dr. Sebi, it helped prolong his life.
It, yeah.
And Dr. Sebi was just, man, he was really a revolutionary in the fact that he was really knowing that we could heal ourselves with just by eating the right foods and having the right herbs
and
there.
preparing the body it's a self-healing organism. You just got to get rid of all of the toxins and the mucus.
Exactly.
And that's like, these messages have been around for years.
Yeah.
But so why is it, or whether it's the conspiracy theorists and everything, I got all these hashtag protect Nick and all that stuff. Like, why do you think it, as a community even, we get, because of our lack of knowledge, we start making things up, or we even want to get to that space of like, oh, Nick, you be careful. Like, I got people really saying like, I got to look out. Like, what do you think that is?
I think that's because, man, we've been like, throughout the years, brainwashed to think all this like sugar.
Yeah.
Right. like milk does the body good.
Right.
We told a lot of
mucus does the body good is really what that's telling you.
So many things been like ingrained in us that when we start talking against that grain, man, it's just like when I first started eating vegetarian, I eat fish and stuff now, but when I first was
for
vegetarian,
the protein.
Yeah, it was exactly. When my mother and them was like, "What the hell you doing?" Like they was, but then eventually, now my mother actually eats vegetarian because she had to deal with some health issues, and she had a natural doctor who really got her right. But I think, man, what our communities think about the foods we get in our communities and the stuff that's plugged in. We're not getting exposed to it. So I think we gotta like continue that conversation and also like make it part of like people want to look good too, so like let them know, yo, you gonna look good too.
Yeah, the skin gonna glow. You know what I mean? You gonna hold on to that youth. You gonna be in shape.
Yeah, you gonna be good. So I mean, it's all those elements, and then once people experience it, they start to feel those things too. But the conspiracy theorists, I think sometimes it's just, man, obviously people on the internet sometimes just say what they think or just be spurting out stuff. But I also think that they know that people who are powerful and are speaking against really the powers that be. Are in danger sometimes. We're in danger, like, just because, if you talk about healing people through natural herbs and these things and curing cancer in these ways, man, the government, the people that make money off of all these
big pharma,
they're gonna be like, yo,
we gotta control that.
Yeah, we gotta control that. We need to squash.
And we've seen that, in the history from our other leaders that have been taken away from us. When they start talking about economics, that's when they disappear. And that's from the Martins to Malcolm the list goes on, and even the people that are currently, that we still fighting for the, Assad's, all of those type of people. So the conspiracy theorists aren't wrong in the idea to say, if we trying to better ourselves and empower ourselves, we do got to be careful.
Yes.
But this information is there for you.
It is there.
You could go out there and grab it, man. And like you always say, and I feel like from what I've learned from Dr. Sebi is like, love is that last word.
Love is that last word. And the truth of the matter is, like, you can't stop the love. Like you could destroy. They took Dr. King off the planet physically, but man, his spirit is still
immortalized. Same thing with Nipsey. Like, these people will be immortalized from their messages and what they did leave us. You know,
Dr. Sebi.
Yeah, facts.
He's still here, man. Yeah. Like, his spirit is here with us. Like, his work is still being done right now.
Yeah, and honestly, man, all that you've laid and everything that you've provided through entertainment and activism, I feel like you definitely gonna be one of those brothers that'll be immortalized through everything that you've done. I mean, you got all the accolades, on that EGOT status.
Yeah.
But even, you know what, man, like, just knowing that you still at it and you still making greatness and it ain't gonna stop. So what's the date of the album? August
30th.
Let Love.
Let Love. And I'm on tour right now.
Yeah,
So
the Let Love tour.
Yeah, the Let Love tour. So it's been incredible. Like I said, the performance is like it's a storytelling. It's storytelling, yes.
And there you have it. Close conversations with Common, but we can't let him out of here. Even though this is the family, we still got to make a part of the firing squad. I got some questions for you. Grab it and you get to it. Yeah. Usually I have on my vest. I ain't got my vest on, or it's over there because we're gonna start shooting at you. Whatever comes to your mind, man, we just gonna hit you with it. And I always ask this first: love or fear?
Love.
I knew that was gonna be the answer. Let love have the last word, right there.
Exactly.
Yeah. But if there was a fear in Common's life, what's the biggest fear?
My biggest fear is not being the best at what I do. Meaning not making use of my days. Like I want to be like every day be doing something that I love.
Not wasting time at all.
Not wasting time.
All right. Favorite movie?
Man, Pulp Fiction.
Really?
Yeah.
Yo, that's an ill one. I'm a Tarantino fan. People be bugging. My favorite movie is Wolf of Wall Street.
Is it?
Yeah, it was Malcolm X.
Yeah.
So you never think somebody so conscious be like, yo, Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, I love Pulp Fiction, man. That shit dope, man.
It is what it is. I would say best word that describes you.
Free.
Okay. That's real. Best advice you've ever received.
Man, accept your own, know thyself, and be yourself.
Worst advice you've ever received?
Man, go get that money. Because I got
T.I.'s worst advice is, man, do that shit. So that's what it is. That's right up there with
chase the paper.
Exactly.
Is what I'm saying.
Favorite restaurant?
My favorite restaurant is, it's a good one. Let me think. My favorite restaurant is, where do I go a lot? It's a place called Avant-Garde in New York.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right. Word. That fly shit.
Yeah, it's fly.
All right. Worst job Common ever had?
Man, the worst job I had was I was sorting out parking tickets for the city in Chicago. When I was, I was just like 18 or something. And I was like, I had to go through.
You wasn't a meter maid, dude.
No.
Oh, I was about to say.
That would have been the worst.
We hate all of them.
man, every time I see them, I'll be like, why you doing that, man?
What is the purpose?
Yeah. But after they, the city give the tickets, they got to sort them in in numerical order. So,
oh, wow.
So I had to just sit there.
That seemed tedious as hell.
It was terrible.
Now this usually ain't in the firing squad because this might take a little bit longer. Common's top 5.
Ooh. Okay. Well, so I'm gonna go with Biggie.
Oh, okay. Really?
Nas.
Wow, I didn't know Biggie would be. I love it.
Nas.
But Biggie's in Common top 5.
Nah, this is my favorites. Now,
okay.
If you ask me,
not the best. This your favorites.
These are my favorites.
Right.
Biggie, Nas, Andre 3000, Kanye, and
these is all. You are in that company of all of these cats.
Man, I'll take it. Thank you.
I mean,
and I'm probably gonna say KRS-One.
Yeah, the teacher. That's a strong vibe.
With Kendrick being right there. Like,
wow. So Common is gonna put Kendrick in one of your favorites.
Yes, man. I mean that dude.
Even though you had to inspire him, as well as Kanye.
Yeah. Well, let me say this. I mean, I'm grateful if I did, but them dudes is on other levels, man. Kendrick.
Wow, man. I commend you for even. See, that's how humble this dude is. The dude who wrote "I Used to Love Her" and the light and all that is saying like some cats that came after him is in his top 5.
Yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, look, if you put Kendrick's albums just against the 5 that I named, it's like, man, that dude got like 4 classics probably. Like, Kanye got about 8 or 9 classics.
Yeah. Man, that says a lot, man. All right, so keeping this fire squad going. Best guilty pleasure.
Man, I love eating French fries a lot. Is that a guilty
really?
pleasure?
Yeah, it's definitely a guilty. Most underrated artist.
Most underrated artist. I mean, well, I think Bilal is an underrated artist.
That's a good one.
Bilal is a singer who
Facts.
He is, man.
He been dope.
Anything and he just some people don't know how great he is.
Yeah. Nah, I've been a fan for it since the Soul Sister days.
Yeah,
you know
man,
what I mean?
like
he official with it.
Yeah.
So Look, Common's childhood crush.
My childhood crush was, well, it was
Tootie.
Tootie. It was Tootie. It was Tootie. It was Tootie. And then Charlene, which was Janet Jackson on Different Strokes.
Absolutely.
And then Lisa Bonet.
Hey, that's a cold 3 right there. Favorite cuss word.
Man, my favorite cuss word is fuck.
That's a good one.
I don't give a fuck. You know, fuck
Exactly.
that shit. You know?
Most prized possession.
My most prized possession is, man, I ain't gonna lie, that Oscar probably is. I mean, is that
that's a high key stunt right there, ladies. The Oscar. Yo, man, and even talking about that, to be able to go to be a MC on that stage, man, and hold up an Oscar for your work, for your craft, for what you were born to do, man. How's that feel?
Dude, I probably say that's why it's the most prized possession, because of, like, that's a high award that was given for doing something that I really love to do. And I felt like we were up there for a purpose that was bigger than us. Like, you know, like
Facts.
Selma itself and the people of the civil rights movement. But then what was going on, obviously, with a lot of young men and women being shot down by the police, we felt like we were speaking to a lot of the generation.
Yeah.
So it was like, that is that I felt like, you know, when you living in your purpose and things just align, that's what I felt like I was in alignment.
There it is, man. And then finally, just to piggyback on that, man, the biggest life lesson you learned in your career, leaving it with people, what would you say that is?
Man, I think to actually be humble enough to know that you can always get better and always grow. So no matter, the next day after I won an Oscar, I definitely I went to the gym, and then my trainer was like, man, why would you show up after you won an Oscar? I mean, I'm like, man, I still got to keep it moving. I got to grow. And then I just started wanting to work on new things. So my point is, man, be humble enough to know you can always learn and grow.
There it is.
Yes, sir.
Close Conversations with the King.
Yeah.
Common. Make sure y'all go get the book, get the album, see him on tour.
Yes.
Obviously, movies, TV, all of that still coming, still producing.
Yes.
Man, you don't know what to expect from this brother, because he's continuing to grow. He continuing to be there for our community. It's Common.
Yes,
Power 106. Let's go.
Love.